happens, eh? So it seems like only a few minutes ago I last saw you. How have you been?
Me?
Mm.
Good. Yeah, good. Yeah, had my Christmas thing with my kids, and I'm always like anticipating, really, I was very excited, and I got their hugs, and then one says, toast F Christmas, and the other one says, worst Christmas ever, except for, when you were in the hospital and we thought you were going to die. So I just went, oh, okay. I guess that's where we start. So it was like what I imagined the holiday dinner to be was, it's like the bubble burst, and it's just completely different starting point. And it was okay. Actually, it was the right place to start. It was just, it's just, it's just where things are at.
Yep, yep. And so what was
Yeah.
your reaction when the bubble burst? Did you
Uh, I had to take a moment because I felt the disappointment and wondering, okay, what's this?
hmm.
You know,
So then how did you
but
react to that?
pardon me.
How did
How
you
did I react to
react
that?
to your reaction?
I noticed it. That was the thing that happened, and then it's just like it's like taking a second take, and then I see them, and I see that they're just there.
Hmm.
It's just happening, and then I was able to ask, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
what was going
Fill me
on.
in, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and then it opened that um, it opened it up for them to just tell the truth, I guess. And one had broken up with, um,
Yep. That was why it was
you
the
know,
worst one ever for them. Yeah.
yeah, and the other one was just, you know, it's just her attitude in life right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Lightheartedly blasphemic, if you like.
Yeah, yeah, just like I don't
Yeah,
care about anything, and
yeah.
kind of that youth. That's the thing with this. The beautiful thing about youth is it's just everything is so intense, and it's just so happening, and it's just like pours out of them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so then I just laughed, and they laughed, and then we didn't know why. It's just like,
Good. Yeah, yeah. Amazing how contagious that stuff is, eh?
yeah, it really was. And so then it just opened things up, and we decided we're just gonna start there, and it's just gonna be what it is.
Mm, mm.
Everyone's just gonna do their thing, and
Right.
that's
Yep.
that's how it went.
Yep. And so did you when you first experienced that sense of disappointment, there was a readjustment happened, something took place and you shifted in your from your spontaneous response of disappointment into something else that was like maybe you were saying to yourself, well, this is it, and there's nothing to do about that other than
Mhm.
be aware of it. Or it may have been something like, oh, bloody hell, disappointment. I'm disappointed about that.
Yeah. Um, I think their response was just so sincere. There's just no mask. at all. That it just um, it was just I just realized this. It's just it. This is just it's just here right now. There was nowhere to go with it.
Mm. So that was almost your primary reaction. But there was the disappointment, and then
Oh,
that was the response to that, wasn't
yeah, the initial reaction was disappointment, and the whole, it came with all the baggage of like all the history of what Christmas is,
it? Yes, yes.
and the habit of you get together, you have great food, good conversation, all of that.
Mm.
Yeah.
We have that fantasy, even if
Hmm.
our memory tells us that every bloody Christmas has been a problem, and never ever has it lived up to our expectation of that wonderful family
No,
get together thing that we wanted.
no, no, absolutely not. And that fantasy was so strong that even driving there in the rain, in the dark, with bad night vision, uh, I hit, I turned a curb, a street. I ended up going on a different route that I wasn't familiar, hit the rim of my car on the street. So despite all of these things happening, I still held on to this idea of what this dinner would be. It's amazing. It was
Mm.
it wasn't until after that, and I sat down and I thought, oh, this has been like bloody hell just getting here.
Mm.
But even with that, I wanted, part of me just wanted to push through it and
Mm.
show up and hi and
Yeah, yeah, wanted to make it come true as much as
all the
possible.
food.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
want to, yeah,
yeah.
create. Yeah, yeah. But there's something so sobering about someone just saying exactly how they feel in that moment.
Mm.
It just, it's literally, it's like I could feel the bubble burst.
But I heard you say, now it may well be that it was my interpretation only, but I heard you say two things. That one was that the bubble bursts, and then there is that disappointment. But then there was another one that really appreciated the in the moment spontaneous response from your daughter. That
Absolutely. Mm, yeah,
there was an enjoyment in that, in the
yeah,
freshness of that, at the
yeah.
same time as the disappointment, almost.
Yes. It
Maybe.
was, it was just back to back. It's actually quite beautiful to see that. It's beautiful, actually.
But can you see
Yeah.
how where the beauty of it is when you
Mm,
step outside of the fantasy of it,
mm,
when you recognize that that's the fantasy is what turned up, but you're not in the fantasy when you see that it turned up. And the moment you step out of it and you see it for what it is, it's the beauty is there. It's just there is
yeah.
great beauty in that moment of no longer being
Yes.
involved in the content of that story, but rather witnessing the fact of the story occurring.
Mm, yeah.
And you didn't do it.
It's
It just happened.
no, I didn't do anything. It just,
Yeah.
yeah, it just happened. And it was just perfect in that moment. It's like everything aligned itself up, or everything just became that. And I was able to have some degree of empathy and forget about my need to create something,
Yep. Yep.
you know,
Well,
something
you also
special.
recognize your need is just the fantasy that you had, right? So it's just,
Mm-hmm.
it didn't have a lot invested in it at that point when you recognize that, okay, it's just a fantasy. Wow, it just, oh God, I've been watching too much television. The ads are getting to me or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like hot air that
Yeah.
just vanished.
Yeah.
The timing is just the way they said, the one that says, F Christmas, and the other one said, worst Christmas ever. Wow. It's
Now,
refreshing. If we,
how did they react to your laughing about it?
well, I started laughing, they just laughed because it's like all of a sudden it's,
You broke the spell of
yeah,
the
it just, it
somber
broke.
spell. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I guess it could have gone down, down, down,
Yeah, yeah, you
but
could jump in and say how horrible think of all the horrible things that have happened to you and add to it. Yeah.
yeah, exactly how the
But
world is
yeah.
and all of
But
that.
when you laughed, they just turned sideways and went in a different direction, eh?
Yeah, they just shrug their shoulders,
And laughed along with you.
you
Great.
know,
Yeah.
because they're not attached to, like, they're just saying it and it's just coming up.
Yeah. Yeah.
They weren't
That's it.
attached to it necessarily.
Yeah. It didn't define them. That's right. Yeah.
No, they're
So
fluid.
they were also outside of it, watching it, maybe. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It just showed up that way, and then all the expectations were gone, and yeah, so it's just like everything was deflated, and then it was just relaxation. You know,
Mm.
what do you want to do now?
Yep. And the big
And
thing, the
think,
big takeaway thing to watch is when you kind of muse back over it, that you don't go down the road of saying, well, that means something, that means this or that. You're not applying meaning to the story. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
My wife telling me don't be long.
yeah. We don't need to be alone.
No, I know, I know.
I mostly just want to say hello and
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's been a
yeah,
great hello too. Thank you. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's just good to connect, but it doesn't have to be long.
Mm. No, well, I like to check in and just see that things are still moving in a good direction. That's the
Yeah,
thing. We haven't come across anything that we would call a snag or anything that any blockage of anything. So yeah, that's all good. Yeah.
no, it's been pretty open, and I think the thing that stayed with me last time is just to also not hold attach get attached to those good moments, those
Mm.
when things feel right or feel light or whatever
Yep.
you have an
Yeah.
experience, to not, for me, to not get attached to it, to let it go. And
Mm.
even last night, I kind of forgot about it. I'm always thinking I'll have nothing to share. Um, if you hadn't asked the question, I don't know.
You'll
I don't
get to the
know.
point where you don't. I mean, yeah. It reminds me every time we go into Aldi, my wife says, we don't need a big basket, we only need a little one. And I go, every time we come in here, we come out with a full basket. So let's take the big one. And we always fill it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Even not
yes.
intending to. Yeah. Well, it's a bit like
Oh,
that. Yeah.
it's even worse when you say that. It's when you say it bursts. But yeah, no, it's thank you. It's nice to just say it out loud, and yeah, it feels good to me not because it was perfect. A lot of things happen when I think of it, but yeah, it's like you said, I'm not making anything happen. It's just happening, and I see it. I come in and out of seeing it.
Yep.
That's the only thing. Hi, Bianca.
That was a beautiful Christmas story.
Yeah,
I'd
I want to laugh.
I'd say Christmas magic happened.
It was not in my control. None of it was planned that way. Yeah, just great.
How's yours been, Bianca, so far?
Yeah, I wanted to give an update that the meds are working. I'm much better. The big ball in my belly dissolved.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and I can eat. And that is
Yeah, excellent.
a big
That was pretty fast then. You know, meds usually take a little while to kind of acclimatise, but there, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised, but pleasantly.
Mm.
So
That's,
yeah,
yeah.
and a lot of work still going according to the plan so long.
How's Christmas in Thailand? I presume it's Buddhist Thailand you're in, or Muslim Thailand down south?
No, it's the Buddhist up north. Um, yeah, it's not really much of a Christmas feeling over the whole thing. We haven't really celebrated either, so that's it's I'm really fine with that.
Sure.
My relationship with Christmas has been the greatest since I was young, so it kind of lost its magic the older I got. How about you guys?
Yeah, it's happening well here. We've got all the family upstairs playing a game. We put our daughter ran and put somebody famous's names on our backs, and we had to work out who we were. That was fun. Yeah.
I do notice I'm really emotional today. Not related to Christmas, but we're leaving here where we are today, leaving the family. So there's not really attached a story to it, but my conclusion is it has to be something about that. But yeah, it's interesting to observe this cocktail of emotions, which is kind of the first big emotional thing that I've had since I went through the gates.
Mm. And it's in anticipation of you leaving soon, eh?
Well, well, there are some thoughts, but the thoughts just I don't really hold on to them,
Mm.
so that they come up, and so it's like I said, it's not. I can't really see in a particular story attached to it, but I guess it has some anticipation of leaving. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So logically speaking, without even being able to experience what might be happening, if there are heavy feelings and you can see that it's attached to leaving, and that will be leaving tomorrow or the next day.
No, we're leaving tonight, actually.
Oh, today. So it's imminent, right? Um, and yet there's some energy in these feelings. I mean, yeah. So with the emotion, it's like it's really easy for me to kind of jump into a story about what the emotion of leaving is about. But I mean, that's would be wrong of me to do that simply because there could be anything involved. But you have it is an association with leaving, this emotion.
Yeah, that's so. Here's where I'm at with this. I could go in and kind of, or that's wrong. I am already inside. I could go to thought and see what this is about, but like that would just be
Yep,
creating some story,
yep,
right?
yep, yep, yep.
I was not really interested in that, so I've just been with the feeling, to be
Yeah, yeah,
honest.
okay. Right. So maybe it's
But
not
I,
even appropriate to chase it down. Maybe we don't need to chase it down if it's perfectly fine. Presumably, this is your wife's family that you're leaving behind.
yes,
Yep.
but
So I'm wondering if, in fact, it's your anticipation about what she might be going to feel that you're responding to.
no, I think there is some of my own baggage here because I've never I have a complicated relationship with my family, my own family. So the kind of sense of family that I've had the last few years has been with her family.
Yes, yeah, and it's been obviously very lovely.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
for sure. Um, and also I've had and probably still have, if I'm going to be honest, an attachment to Thailand. So I've lived here before, about 8 years ago or something. I used to live here for 3 years. And ever since then, I've never really felt home in Norway.
Mm.
And my heart
Mm.
has always wanted to come back to Thailand. So there's probably some of that going on if I'm going to engage in stories somewhat.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need to get involved in what the story is. We can recognize that there's something going on, and we can logically assume that that's a story, and that can be enough. We don't need to
Yeah.
go any further with it sometimes. Um, and a lot of these emotions are, how can I put it? They're what I want to say is they're authentic. We of course we can feel a loss about
Mm.
something that's been particularly close to us. And if we don't have the stories going around about how it should be different, we can still experience that loss. But what you might find, certainly something I have experienced, is that there can be a rather interesting sweetness about that emotion as well.
Yeah, I want to be clear that it's not something that I'm wishing away. It is, when I said that this is kind of the first time something rather, it isn't that big, but I've been in like a deep contentment up until now. So this is this I can feel in my gut. And um, it is beautiful. Like it's not something I want to go away. It's the first opportunity I've had to kind of really sit with an emotional cocktail without trying to figure it out or to push it away or to. So it's actually a beautiful experience. But it's heavy, but that doesn't mean that it's bad.
Yeah, I get it. It can be okay. Yeah.
There has been questioning of or curiosity around attachments, and kind of want to take it back to the lab, but I also kind of just want to sit with it. So
yeah. And those two things are not necessarily exclusive. You don't have to kind of start dissecting it, scientifically, kind of thing.
yeah,
But simply sitting with it kind of is taking it back to the lab in a way. If you have a fairly relaxed attitude about it, you'll see what's going on.
yeah.
You do, I think, and I think it's it feels good. It feels fine.
Yeah. It's interesting because I used to have this almost desperate energy before to get back to Thailand. How could I make that happen? How can I live in Thailand? And I think also how can I get away from Norway? Was in there. I still want to reside in Thailand, but it's not that desperate energy over it. But I'm curious if it's something sneaky, like if it's more subtle, like there's still an attachment there that I have to. That I think I've let go of, but I haven't.
Oh, who knows? I mean, that could be way more complex than that too.
Yeah.
Oh, going back to Norway sounds a bit like going home to the family, where you'll get to see what triggers you in a much more dramatic way. They'll just pop up. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't see them very often, so it's not so much about that, but it's more about I'm genuinely more like I've since since I was young, I've always had a problem with the cold and the dark. And just sunshine, being outside, yeah, it just brings more out of life, I feel.
Sure. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. And it's not just even in Norway. I recently worked with somebody in England, and they had a similar kind of issue with the winters there, that the low light and so on definitely was having a big effect on their psyche. and their answer was to get some special globes. I don't know exactly what it was, but something that obviously produced this frequency of sunlight for in
Yeah,
their
I've
house.
tried. I've actually tried that. uh, it doesn't work for me, at least. I don't think.
Okay.
Well, there is obviously probably something to do with the sunshine as well, but it's more of the availability to be able to go out and be with,
Ah, right. Yes. Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. I do. I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy shorts and bare feet in summer that I miss out on in winter, even here. So. And
Yeah.
then after winter, when you finally take your shoes off and walk around with bare feet, you go, "Oh wow, I'd forgotten about this." Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It can get like in Norway where I live, it can get down to minus 20 Celsius.
Oh God,
And
we complain when it gets down to about 18 degrees Celsius.
yeah, right. And so we stay a lot inside our homes. And it's fine. You know, you get,
Mm.
I feel like I get more out of life when it's possible to be outside more.
So it doesn't sound like a choice you've got that you're going back because of circumstances outside what you would wish for.
I'm going back simply because if I had the um, possibility to make money from Thailand, I would move here tomorrow.
Oh, okay, yeah, right. Oh, so you're
So
going back to
with
work again.
yeah, well, yeah, that's another story as well. I don't know if you remember, I've been on sick leave for a while now, so um,
Oh, and that's coming to an end. Yes, now you mention it. Yeah.
yeah, and also the career is coming to an end, so I'm kind of have to figure out what I
Right.
want to do.
So at least you're not going back into that career that made you sick.
No, that choice feels like it's been made. There are some thoughts coming up sometimes, you know. Yeah, I discovered, now that I mention it, I discovered I do have an attachment to um, a sense of security that is still here. I was thinking about that after I talk about the fear of death, which I can't really feel like I have, but there is an attachment to security.
If you were to turn that around and put it from another way, so when you say, I mean, let's just play with this fantasy for a moment. When you say
Hmm.
security, is there such a thing as security other than as a description of something?
No,
But
that is
certainly
clearly seen.
there is insecurity. Insecurity
Yeah,
can present as something actual, can't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
And and I don't know if it's correct to say that it is an attachment, perhaps, but those thoughts come up and trigger me. So insecurity, thoughts of insecurity can come up and they can still stir the pot.
Mm, mm, yeah.
So it's not so much about my own security, it's more about my family's
Mm.
security, or like my immediate, like my wife and my uh, animal children.
Yeah, sure. So there's no chance that you can find a way to make money in Thailand that you've no doubt thought about it, looked for
Oh,
the
for sure.
possibility, yeah, but nothing's arisen, eh?
There is a couple of things like um, we have an amount of money that we kind of want to invest in something, and are we'll be going back and forth if that should be invested in Thailand or in Norway,
Mm.
because we kind of want to here comes the sense of security again, but Norway has a very good welfare system. So if we kind of keep connection to Norway, we have
Yeah,
that sense of
miss out on that.
security.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we're landing on investing into a business in Norway that we're going to work 6 months of the year and try to stay in Thailand for the other 6 months or perhaps 5.
Yeah, that could work. Yeah, I mean, obviously I say obviously. I mean, it's been, God heavens. I was last in Thailand in 1980, so it's a long time ago. But it was way cheaper to live in Thailand than I imagine it would be to live in Norway.
Yes, for sure, 100%. Our currency is pretty weak lately, but still,
Everybody's is,
it's
ours
much
is
cheaper.
too,
Yeah,
because of the American currency.
Yeah.
yeah,
Canadians bad too,
yeah.
everywhere.
But when it comes down to it, like I feel like when I think about this stuff, I always kind of fall on, but what what is important in life? Is it to kind of in Norway, the lifestyle there is you work, you go home, you go to bed, you repeat. Uh, with much because of the climate, because you just don't want to go outside unless it's the few summer months that we have. So I've always kind of concluded that if I could just I don't need the money, I don't need the security. If I could just if we can just live as full of a life as possible, then that's kind of where my heart wants to go. Not like I have a choice in this, but that's where
Yeah, sure, yeah. But at the
my
same
heart
time,
goes.
I get a feeling that your attitude will lead you there anyway.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's just a matter of time. We'll see.
Yep. And when you're in the state that you're in, serendipity always abounds, and you'll be amazed at what will jump up and offer itself. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, I might go back up and rejoin my family's Christmas festivities. Yeah. So next time we hear from you, Marius, you'll be in Norway, eh?
Yeah, we're leaving the 28th. So we're having a few days in Bangkok before we
Oh,
home.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, enjoy that that horrible plane trip all the way across there.
Yeah, thanks. We brought our dog this time to Thailand, and it was a kind of a stressful flight here. So I'm hoping that it's going to be less stressful on the way back.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, that could
Yeah,
always be fun. Yeah.
yeah, an adventure. Anyways, enjoy your Christmases, everyone.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much.
Okay. Bye-bye.